Hi, today we'll be presenting on the Olympic Charter. So what is the Olympic Charter? It is a set of guidelines and bylaws for the Games to ensure the organization and coordination of sport and sport competitions, allowing a spirit of fair play. The International Olympic Committee was established in 1894 and is a nonprofit organization. According to the Olympic Charter, it states how some of the IOC's role include ensuring the regular celebration of the Olympic Games, to act against any form of discrimination affecting the Olympic movement, to encourage and support measures relating to the medical care and health of athletes, and to encourage and support the promotion of women in sport at all levels, implementing the principle of equality of men and women. There are 7 principles of Olympism, as one of them here states that Olympism is a philosophy of life, exalting and combining in a balanced whole the qualities of body, will, and mind, blending sport with culture and education. Another principle states how the practice of sport is a human right. Every individual must have the Olympic spirit, which requires mutual understanding with the spirit of friendship, solidarity, and fair play. And Rule 50 of the Olympic Charter states how there is no kind of demonstration or political, religious, or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas. So basically, the Charter wants to separate the sport from any political or religious interference. Therefore, athletes in the games come from different backgrounds, therefore, everyone should respect this diversity. If one is to break the rule, it will be evaluated by the National Olympic Committee, International Federation, and the IOC to establish a disciplinary action. And this rule exists to bring unity and harmony to the Olympic movement, focusing only on the athlete's performance. And the athletes can express their views through press conferences, team meetings, and media platforms. And next, I'll be showing a video on some of the issues that have occurred in China from Rule 50.
In the heated dispute over China hosting the Olympics, the different sides keep pointing to this.
The Olympic Charter.
The Olympic Charter.
A 100-page document from the International Olympic Committee. China says it makes clear politics should not be linked to the Olympics.
We hope that the IOC officials can eliminate the disruptions and stick to the clearly stated principles in the Olympic Charter.
The Charter says no kind of demonstration or political, religious, or racial propaganda is permitted in any Olympic sites, venues, or other areas. It has no say over public streets as the torch travels through. Many who support the protests say China isn't following parts of the Charter. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and some other lawmakers say China's lack of certain human rights and its crackdown in Tibet violate the Charter's call for a peaceful society dedicated to human dignity.
The Olympic Charter makes clear the goal of an Olympic spirit, which requires mutual understanding with the spirit of friendship and solidarity and fair play. We should use the Games as an impetus to hold that country accountable on fair trade, on religious freedoms, on human rights.
Can participants in the Olympics try to hold China accountable? Some French athletes want to make a statement with badges reading "For a Better World." The head of the International Olympic Committee says participants may express opinions, but if the Charter's prohibition against demonstrations at Olympic events is not enforced,
this will be the end of the spirit of the Olympic Games.
Olympic organizers are considering what kinds of things may be allowed at the Games, whether for participants or spectators. If people try to hold big signs, for example, those could be viewed as demonstrations or political propaganda, and officials could enforce the Olympic Charter. Josh Lev, CNN, Atlanta.
So here's some background on the article that we chose, which basically explains why the IOC doesn't prioritize enough about human rights and its correlation with the Olympics. They interviewed Yannick Clutch and Eli Wolf. Clutch is a member of the Team USA Council on Racial and Social Justice, as well as being on the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council for USA Diving. Wolf is an instructor of sport management from the University of Connecticut and is a coordinator of the Athletes and Social Change Forum. And And for the next part, Chance will be presenting on some of the issues and improvements the IOC has made, as well as his perspective.
Speaking to IOC controversials, human rights groups have expressed outrage over the IOC decisions that allowed China to host the Olympic Games in 2008 and 2022. There was a boycott of the 2022 Beijing Olympics movement on internet during the Olympics time. The movement mainly targets on China human rights issues in Xinjiang, Hong Kong, and Xizang. The Olympic Committee state that at all times, the IOC recognize and uphold human rights on its website. However, time and again, the IOC has relied on Rule 50, which is Visa talking about earlier, to justify its commitment to what it called political neutrality as fundamental principle of Olympism, even when the commitment has contradicted on one or more aspect of its mission. Speaking as a Chinese, most Chinese people in China doesn't know any of these issues. It's due to the positive publicity of the country by the Chinese government in various media. And the government prohibits people from having relevant discussion on the internet. During the period of study abroad, I received a lot of information about China that I had never heard about before. Because Chinese people are living under information blockade, most people think governments are doing the right thing. On the other hand, other countries also fall into an information vacuum, and they may imagine Chinese life and political based on some stereotypes. As a Chinese, of course, I would love to see my home country to host Olympic Games, but these human rights issues are the facts that we have to face. We should, I think instead of banning China from Olympic, we should allow China to attend Olympic Games and travel more to China. On the one hand, we can pass on more idea of freedom and democracy in the world to Chinese people. On the other hand, we can feedback information about real Chinese life and political to the world. Only in this way, we can help Chinese people to get the idea of democracy. In 2022, there's a new change in IOC. Basically, IOC extend the opportunity for athlete expression. During the Olympic game, athletes also have more opportunity to express their thoughts or ideas in such area like team meeting, international interview, or untraditional media or digital medias. This is big change on Rule 50, but there's also some limitation on the new rule. For example, not target directly or indirectly against people, country, or organization, etc. So the last question is, what do you think about this limitation? Is this limitation against you freedom of speech, and where should we draw the line?
So that concludes our presentation, and these are the sources that are listed, and thank you for listening to our presentation.